within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Jackson didn't practice today. Another day of practice missed, this time an ankle injury. No worries, though. Got stepped on during practice yesterday. Should be good to go.
Righty, we will talk about
No worries,
that.
Ian. No worries. Why would we be worried? Who's worried? Who said they were? Did somebody say they were worried? I definitely wasn't worried. And now that you said that, I'm totally not worried. It's all good.
Reputable source.
Of course, I'm not saying he's lying. I'm saying the no worries part
downplaying an injury
is
another
comical.
Injury to, yeah.
Like, have you been watching Lamar Jackson? We're worried. Now add in that he got his ankle stepped on. We're worried.
That might help his throwing, though.
How? Stan.
He might not
You think
overcompensate.
it corrects a previous injury?
Exactly.
Now it's more even. Lamar Jackson, of course, did not practice yesterday. Neither did Travis Jones. Apparently, that's a personal thing.
I didn't practice either.
Well, why would you want to? But you're so in rhythm that you don't need it, Stan.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Lamar apparently was stepped on Wednesday.
And who do we think did it? Who do we think stepped
That's
on
a courtesy of Amazon Prime last night.
I'm guessing Emory Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have nothing. I have no leg to stand on.
There
on
you
that,
go.
but
Apparently,
I'm
neither does
guessing.
Lamar. He got stepped on.
Exactly.
Well done,
That's
Stan.
part of the problem. Ay.
They're getting used to working together.
Yeah, something like that, man. I don't know. I hate it here. I just want to have good vibes, good feelings. We were so excited. Lamar Jackson practiced on Wednesday, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna get a full week of practice for Lamar Jackson." And then one day later, womp womp. Now, typically Wednesday is the more important day of practice, which is like kind of why it was always weird that Wednesday was the day he wasn't practicing. Over the years, Wednesday has been the day that you start to install things for that week. So maybe the Ravens.
This is all it takes?
Forget it. I don't know, man. I don't know. It stinks.
He's our dog, man.
Go
He's
beat
our
the
dog.
Go beat the Steelers, and then we won't have to care about any of these things. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn Ease Griffin, and of course, the Chief Grand Poobah, Stan the Fan Charles, is in studio with us. Much to do on the program today. Later on in the show, Charlie Batch, our friend, former Steelers quarterback, and part of their radio game day crew doing the post-game show out there. He will join us to preview Sunday's matchup.
I hope I can hang around that long.
He said he didn't know how he felt about you. Ooh. He said...
I've talked to Charlie many times.
Like, if I have to, I guess I'll
it's his birthday today.
It is his birthday. That's a great point.
I hope I'm around to wish him a happy birthday.
All right, well, we'll see. I don't want to promise anybody anything. I don't know. Also, later on in the program, we are going to preview another big game this weekend. Johns Hopkins football playing in the round of 16 in the NCAA playoffs and taking on an in-state rival as Salisbury comes to Homewood Field for that one. They look to punch a ticket to the quarterfinals. That's tomorrow at noon. Their coach, Dan Wodicka, will join us. And also going on Sunday, the anniversary celebration of Super Bowl 35, 25 years ago. The silver anniversary of Super Bowl 35. And Sam Adams, former Ravens defensive tackle, is going to check in with us because, truth be told, we wanted to find somebody we hadn't talked to in a little while. That's the reason why we're going with Sam Adams today. Like, Griffin and I yesterday were sharing numbers. I'm like, who's somebody we haven't had on in a while? Because, for various reasons, we have lots of different guys on. And I don't know what's going on in Sam Adams' world. So we're going to catch up with him. That's the reason why we chose Sam Adams. Straight shoot.
Is he still running the brewery?
I don't believe so. I think he got out of the family business.
Okay.
After 200 years, he called it.
Yeah. Said, I've had enough. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Big fight night tomorrow night. Boxing. You got Isaac Cruz taking on Lamont Roach. You've also got UFC 323 with Piotr Yan taking on Merab Davalishvili.
Yeah, you were better yesterday.
All right.
Divalishvili.
Divalishvili.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll get it. We'll get it eventually.
Is Griffin's fighting live?
No,
there,
not
right?
on.
I'm
he's
fighting
not,
live.
not doing that. Why pay the big pay-per-view prices? Why would you do that? That's a very silly decision to make. When instead you could be inside Sports and Social watching the fights for free on their 100-foot media wall, and then maybe spend that money instead, like at the FanDuel Sportsbook, win some bets, make more money, or maybe get like a room for the night, delicious food. All of it, drink specials, maybe, play the tables while you're there. Make a weekend out of it and watch the fights for free inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel.
Can you bet on the fights there?
You sure can, Stan. Of course you can bet on the fights there.
I didn't.
Stan, we're going to talk plenty of Ravens Steelers. You and I have not been together since the last move that the Orioles made in order to bring in their new closer, Ryan.
Andrew Magno?
No, that wasn't the one I was thinking of,
Oh,
to be
okay.
honest with you. Nor was it Mike Schilt that I was thinking.
Stan did all this research on
I
Andrew.
know, right? He
No,
was prepared to do an entire segment. And, of course, the winter meetings get underway on Monday. Where are the winter meetings? They're Austin? Is that where they are?
No, they're in Orlando.
Orlando, that's where they are.
Same thing.
Somewhere warm, somewhere I'd like to be, but apparently we don't do that anymore.
Wait, this is perfect weather.
Around these parts.
We go when they're in Washington.
Yeah, well, we went to Nashville, if I remember
that's
correctly.
true, we did.
Go to Nashville.
When are they coming to Baltimore?
I don't know if Baltimore's going to find its way
Specifically
when Baltimore builds a
Towson.
Gaylord. If I had to guess, that's when that's going to happen.
Were you with me when we Did we walk into that bar together at like 1:30
No,
in the
we
morning?
both went at different times.
But Lasorda was.
I swear to God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
he
The
was just holding
greatest
court.
moment I've ever seen in my life. I walked in. I went to see a band that night with my
Right.
buddy, Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes, famously now with Howl, Timonium native. He had got me into a place called the Exit Inn. I went to see this incredible folk rock band. Just had a great night. And on the way back, I just really wanted a sweet tea. But I wanted a sweet tea to go. And you had told me about John A's, which was
right, John
near
A's. That's the
our
name of the place.
hotel.
Right.
Which you were very excited to tell John Angelos about. And
Right.
so I was like, I bet John A's would give me a road soda. I bet, because I'm not asking for a beer.
Right.
I just want a to-go sweet tea because I'm in Nashville. That's what I'm feeling right now is I just want a sweet tea. So I go into John A's and I walk up to the bar and I say, hey, man, I got a random question for you. Would you hook me up with a road soda? Would you give me a to-go sweet tea? And the guy looks at me for a second. He's like, that's not a request I've gotten much over the years. I said, I understand, but I'm walking back to the hotel, and that's what I'm looking for. He said, all right, hang on a second. I got a lot going on. And I was like, oh? He's like, yeah. There's a band of old guys playing Will the Circle Be Unbroken.
Right.
And I'm like, this is great. And then he said, and Tommy Lasorda's over there holding court. And I was like, yeah. And I look over, and Tommy Lasorda is covered in barbecue sauce. Tommy Lasorda is eating ribs, and it's in a way perfect. It's exactly what I wanted to see Tommy Lasorda look like in that moment. And I said, can I go say hi? He's like, yeah, don't be a weirdo.
Right.
He's a regular here. I said, all right. So I wandered over and gave greetings to Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
I was like, this might be the greatest establishment I've ever been in.
I walked up and just quickly said, hey, I got greetings to you from Steve Jeppy back in Baltimore.
Okay.
Because they used to work together on the prostate zero stuff that Michael Milken was doing. And he how's he doing? How's Steve doing?
What a great place that was. John A's, man. I wonder if that's still in existence. I would go back tomorrow. In fact, we'll do our winter meetings broadcast from Nashville while the winter meetings are in Orlando.
That would be great.
I'd be in favor.
From John A's.
Right?
Which John A. probably owns now.
Might be.
Yeah.
That might be what he's up to. Stan, so the Orioles do bring in a closer, And I know you wrote that you believe that Ryan Helsley will look more like the version of.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward conversation because if you had told us in June of 2024 that next year Ryan Helsley was going to be a Baltimore Oriole, we'd high five vigorously.
Yeah.
We would be thrilled. It's just trying to make sense. I know he said in his his Zoom call this week that he believes that he's figured it out.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I think we're all going to be very happy with Ryan Helsley, but you still need to see it because what happened in New York was alarming for Ryan Helsley.
Well, the good news is the quote-unquote metrics and all the analytics stuff says his stuff is still what it was. I heard all the stuff about predictability of his pitches and the fact that he might have been tipping pitches. I still believe there's something to, and he wasn't having as good a year last year in St. Louis as he had in 24, but the Cardinals weren't having a particularly great season last year. And then he goes to the Mets, and the Mets were still very much alive when they acquired him. But he wasn't used in the role he'd become familiar with, closing games. And it's vastly different when you come in the 7th and 8th innings. That adrenaline isn't quite what it is in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
So I think there's a real good chance he's back to what he was. This is not a case where we got Craig Kimbrell and he had, he was running on empty, so to speak.
No, I don't think it's that. I mean, I still, it's one of those, I got to see it. There's a small part of me that says, maybe you have a plan B going into the season just in case. But I have reason to believe that this is a better option. Yeah, it's certainly a better option than Craig Kimbrell was at that point in his career. I am in agreement.
And it's interesting. The price is very similar. We got Kimbrell for 1 year at 13, and we're paying this guy 14.
Yep. And this is the other part that I've heard from some Orioles fans who said, look, I'm not opposed to Ryan Helsley. I just wonder if what they're telling us is they're still not going to do multi-year deals. And maybe this one proves to be a multi-year deal, but to the point, it's a multi-year deal if he's the best version of Ryan Helsley, it's not a multi-year deal.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't appear to be on the face of it a multi-year deal. But I don't think this is a question of the Orioles didn't want to do a multi-year deal. I'm not saying they were going to go 4 years on him, but I think they would have been happy to get him on 2 years flat with maybe an option on a third year. I think it's Helsley who wanted the opportunity to opt out.
Reprove yourself and go say that you're a top closer. I have no issue with that. It's just that the first two moves they've made have both been short-term guys.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the part that, everyone wants to believe that when David Rubenstein says we don't have any financial constraints, that means there's going to be significant big-time moves. And where we are between those two things, what the reality is going to be at the winter meetings next week, will the Orioles ultimately be a player for
Valdez.
Right.
And,
I keep coming back to my guess is probably not. I think it's more likely that maybe they're in play for a Pablo Lopez in a trade. That's the way that they go about doing their business. And if they do that and it works out, then we're not going to care. But it would be nice to see. I think everyone would like to feel as though the Orioles are competing, maybe not on the same level, but at least playing the same game as other teams are.
I'm going to take them at face value, and they were careful to say that, hey, we're not the Dodgers, and we're not going crazy. But I see no reason why the Orioles won't be nearing a $200 million payroll this year. And that means that they got a fair amount of money left to spend.
It certainly would have a whole lot.
They were at about $1.60 last year. They got a lot of money coming off, and I just happen to think that they're going to spend significantly on a couple pitchers and maybe a hitter.
I'm probably going to write about it this weekend because I can't write Sunday night after the Ravens game because I've got an event. So I might be writing ahead of that and might do kind of a winter meetings primer. My opinion at the moment is I have no issue with the two moves they've made so far. But I still don't think today they're as good as they were mid-2024 when things started to fall apart. So when it was still good.
We've got a huge unknown in there, and that is AR.
Of course,
Adley
right?
Rutschman.
And like that.
To me, he's a total wild card. I think they're optimistic that they can get him back to what he was and maybe simplifying the hitting coach situation a little bit. I don't know that you need 3 hitting coaches. I think they're down to 2. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm not overly optimistic that he's going to be what he was, but he's certainly young enough to get back to being a 280, 24 home run, 85 RBI guy.
I mean, if that ends up being the case, it'll go obviously a massively long way. Yeah. But at the moment, the team that was at that point, maybe you could say you're swapping out like an Anthony Santander for Taylor Ward. Where Taylor Ward at his best wasn't as good as Anthony Santander was. You're swapping out Felix Bautista for Ryan Helsley. Ryan Helsley at his best was close to Felix Bautista, but not quite as good as Felix Bautista at his best. That team, as it wasn't going to be good enough. They needed to get better in order to win a World Series. You got to get better just to get back to that.
Yeah.
And that's where, I have no issue with the 2 moves that have been made so far, but there still need to be serious moves. It can't just be, maybe go out and add 1 more kind of major league pitch. There need to be serious moves.
Really serious. They need to get 1 real serious pitcher and 1 really qualified
major league starter. Yeah. They need 100%. They need a top-ish of the rotation and another legitimate major league starter at this point. And I would still argue 1 more
bat.
Yeah. 1 more real, with the caveat of or 1 more serious center fielder.
Yeah.
If the trade-off was a couple people brought up if it was really just $7 million for 1 year, why couldn't the Orioles have been the team that brought back Cedric
Mullins?
In that context, yes, I'm with you. If it's really just 1 year and $7 million, then I probably would have been okay with the Orioles bringing back Cedric Mullins at that number. They don't normally do those types of things.
They don't seem like they bring people back.
Yeah, once they've moved on,
Mike Elias.
They kind of move on.
I can't argue really with that, as a whole. And we haven't seen the entirety of Mike Elias's career to know that he'll never bring somebody back,
No.
But it doesn't look like that.
To this point, that hasn't really been something that they've been willing or interested in doing. The
reason I think the pitchers are going to come, and I could be totally wrong on this, but who are we trading for, somebody like Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan? I see the Mets are in. The Mets probably have real prospects that they can give up.
I don't think Joe Ryan's happening. More and more. I don't think.
But he may get traded
because of a bidding war, or just because of.
Well, I think the Twins are going to say Joe Ryan only cost them $6 million.
Right.
If you want to get Joe Ryan, you're going to have to give an organization-changing type of price.
Well, suppose the Mets want Byron Buxton and Joe Ryan and have the package to put it together. But who do the Orioles have to put a package
Not
like
for Joe
that
Ryan.
together?
Not for Joe Ryan.
Right.
You were doing a holiday,
but
right?
I don't think they have it for who would the Twins want from our farm system for Pablo Lopez?
So this would be an interesting. We talked about Pablo Lopez a little bit last week.
Or Sandy Alcantara.
You have to hope that there's another team that thinks that Kobe Mayo is legitimately very close to being a 40 home run bat.
Right.
That the way they view him is we think that he might be a 40 home run bat right now.
Right.
Because it would have to be. So Kobe Mayo would have to be the center. To Griffin's point, if it was Joe Ryan, it would have to involve Jackson Holiday. And I mean, come on, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's my basic point. Is there is not, for as good a job as Elias did initially, using those high draft picks to get some talent. There's not a cluster of talent anymore down there.
No, the only guy right now that's a legitimate tradable commodity is Mayo.
Right.
And I'm not saying I want to trade Kobe Mayo,
Right.
but he's the one guy that you already kind of have a weird at-bat thing going on, and particularly if you're going to bring in one more bat this offseason, figuring out where all these at-bats are coming from does end up becoming a problem ultimately.
Right.
You're probably still going to need to bring in a third catcher, too, on top of everything else. Like, there's
I still think they need another left-handed reliever.
Oh, I
Somebody
absolutely.
like a Hobie Milner.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I agree that they need another
Drew
one of those.
Pomerantz, somebody like that.
So I say all that to say
Yeah.
that I that's the one guy. That's your tradable commodity is Kobe Mayo, and then the lower level arms. But then you get back to are you ever gonna actually develop your own arms?
That they've got that great hitter that they tendered now. Ryan Mountcastle. He's a great hitter.
You do that
Just
to
give it
be
a year.
but you I get why
I
they
didn't realize he was a great hitter.
Yeah,
But Mike Elias says it.
I
so
understand that. I also understand them doing that, to me, only as the insurance policy for a Kobe Mayo trade.
Right.
If we're going to trade Kobe Mayo, then let's have Ryan Mountcastle as an option. An option.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, if you trade Kobe Mayo, it's because you're also going to be signing a bat. And then you don't need to have that option. But I understand keeping it as an option because of that.
I mean, 2 years, if you're going to trade Mayo, do you like the idea of keeping Mountcastle, or would 2 years at $24 million for O'Hearn
Yes,
make more sense?
I would prefer. Yes, 100%. I would
O'Hearn's
prefer
a
that.
legitimate hitter. And I don't refer to him as a great hitter.
No, he's not a
But
game
to- but
changer,
to
right?
Put that in front of us that we think Ryan Mountcastle's a great hitter. He's a 253 career hitter.
I'll never. I understand. You're
Better than your average.
Yeah, right.
Define great.
Stan, you're right. I just, of all the things that I get worked up about, that one's not going to be the one. You're 100% right. I'm not arguing with you. It's an insane thing to say, but I also will never be mad at a general manager saying, "Look, man, like the guy's on our team, so I'm going to try to say nice." I'm going to try.
He can come back to being closer to what
that,
he was.
That would be a better thing
Yeah,
to say. You're right. I agree that would be a better thing to say.
I mean, maybe that's why the Orioles aren't where they should be, because that's Mike's assessment of greatness.
I hope that's not the case. I hope that it's
Maybe he's like misfiring.
Do they make a move next week?
Yeah, I think they'll do something.
Make a prediction. Bold prediction. What's their move next week?
I think that they will come out of the meetings with a left-handed relief pitcher.
Okay.
And one of the pitchers will come off. I don't know who it's going to be though.
A starter.
Yeah, a starting
they
pitcher.
will have acquired either a sign or a trade for a starter, a legitimate major league starter next week.
I think they need, and the player I really want is Schwarber, because Schwarber really excites the fan base. I mean, that is a player.
That's not Taylor Ward had 136 home run season. Hopefully, you're putting 45 home runs in your lineup.
Yep.
I completely get it.
And just gets the fans buzzed. I think this fan base is dying for an infusion of a move that really excites us tremendously.
All right. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Chief Grand Poobah, Stan the Fan Charles, is here in studio with us. This Sunday is Ravens Steelers, but it's not just Ravens Steelers. It's also an exciting day because the Super Bowl 35 champions are going to be back in town celebrating, would you believe, 25 years since the miraculous first Super Bowl title for the Baltimore Ravens. Joining us now here to tell us about it, a member of that team, a defensive lineman, and a great guy. He is former Raven, Super Bowl champion, Mr. Sam Adams, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Sam, it's Glenn and Stan here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's an exciting time, and I appreciate the love.
Man, Sam, take me through, right? Take me back to, because it's been a long time since we caught up. You're in Seattle. Your agent says, hey, they're interested in Baltimore. The Ravens had only existed for a couple of years, and those years hadn't been great. But there were some young pieces, maybe did you just take it because, hey, it's an offer, I'm going to take an offer? Or did you see that there was maybe a foundation there? Did you have any idea how close this organization might be when you arrived?
Man, let me tell you, I actually have a story about that. My wife and I've been married for a little bit, and my wife's from Seattle, Tacoma, and she hadn't been away from home before, and I asked her because Mike Holmgren was difficult, and I said, listen, I'll put up with him if you want, but I prefer to get on the road. But I will sign here. I will stay in Seattle if you're cool with that. If you know, baby, I love you. We'll go wherever you go. We'll do whatever you do. I said, okay, are you sure? Because I'm gonna go get on the road. So I scheduled visits with Green Bay and Baltimore, and I went to Baltimore first. When I got to Baltimore, I looked at the tape. I listened to the people. I fell in love with the team. And after all the interviews with Ozzie and Brian and just watching the film and then talking to Rex Ryan, the D-line coach, I called the wifey and I said, hey, listen, I love it here, and we're going to win a Super Bowl. Wow. I mean, she's like, what? How do you know that? I said, listen, these jokers are flying around on defense. They're physical, they're aggressive, and they all have my temperament. And when you have 11 people like that, you're going to be able to do great things. But I hadn't seen a defense that flies around like that. And if I'm able to, be added to that, it will transform the entire defense.
Man.
He said, okay, if that's the case. So I went back to Ozzie. They actually did not get my numbers done that I wanted them to be at. And my agent was like, they're not going to do it. So Ozzie tried to get me. Now the funny thing is, the assistant general manager was actually my father's agent when he played in the NFL. So I had family connections there, and so they left me sitting in the office for a little bit. So I went back to the hotel. So they called me and they were like, "Wait, where are you at?" I said, "Well, I'm at the hotel. You all didn't get the numbers done, so I came back to the hotel." That night, Mike Sherman called and set up the visit and the meeting with him the next day in Green Bay. Sent me my plane ticket. Mike Sherman was with me. He was the offensive line coach at Texas A&M, so I had a relationship with him. So we got the deal done, and I told him, done deal, I'm on my way. Next morning, I get up, take a taxi cab, I go to the airport. I check into the airport. My bags are getting on the plane, and I get a phone call from my father's agent. He said, where you at? I said, I'm at the airport. I'm leaving. I hadn't heard from you all. What are you doing? What's going on? Yada, yada, yada. And he said, do not get on that plane. I said, are you kidding? What are we talking about here? Don't get on the plane. So I sat for a second. I said, listen, y'all got till this time to get, because I'm getting on the plane. He got off the phone. She spoke to Ozzie. They spoke to Brian and Art. Got it done. Called me back. Said the deal is done. Don't get on the plane. I said, all right, come and get me. Man. My bags went to Green Bay. I went back to the facility, signed the deal. I said, hey, man, y'all going to have to go get my bags because they're on their way to Green Bay. And signed the deal. That year we won the Super Bowl. I made a good decision. But you could actually see it. You could see it in the culture that they had built. You could see it in the coaching staff. I mean, Matt Cavanaugh, actually, the offensive coordinator, played with my father in New England. So I had family connection in Baltimore, but also I could see the strength in the coaching staff. I could see that everyone, from the first person that greets you when you walk into the building all the way up to Mr. Modell, bless his soul, we're all singing from the same hymn on the same page. But even more so, that defense, I could tell, was going to be special. I didn't think that I would transcend them. I just felt like it was something that I wanted to be a part of, and it fit me perfectly. So, long story short.
Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, right.
The rest is history.
Sam, I got a question about that defense, but before I ask that question, that night Did you call your wife and explain that I'm going to Green Bay? I think we can win a Super Bowl in Green Bay?
Heck no. I called my wife and told her go and get the snow blowers and the coat. We about to go freeze our butts off in Green Bay.
Hey, a question about that defense. We can talk about it from here to Tuesday, but the mindset in that huddle about other teams running the football against you and Goose and Ray Lewis up the middle there, what was that like to have a mindset and the talent to back up the mindset?
Well, it's funny because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a couple of us. It was all of us.
Rob.
And it was Rob Burnett.
Yep.
I mean, McCrary.
Yep.
Bullware. Jamie Sharper. But even more so, the safeties with Kim Herring, Woodson. See, with when you have a good run, when you have a good front seven, when you have a good run defense, you have to have strong safeties that can come and get in the box, that have the backside or wherever, the scheme is, to be able to come down and help, plug some of those holes. Because let's face it, at that time, the conference was running black and blue, banging, Bettis, Cordell Stewart, all those jokers. And, it wasn't a pass-happy league like it is now. So you had to be physical. You had to be able to, attack. Well, our mindset, starting with Marvin Lewis and what he did out was not just let's read and let's go sideline to sideline. We're going to finish. We're going to hold our gaps. We're going to let the linebackers run free, and we're going to try to knock out any and everything that moves. And it was a mindset that he didn't have to instill in us. And that's the genius of Ozzie Newsome. He went and got guys that had that mentality. He went and got coaches that had that mentality. Every single coach on that defensive staff was aggressive. And that whittled down to their players. We were all aggressive. We were all of the mind that it is utterly disrespectful for you to run the football on us. You better pass it, and when you do, we're going to try to kill your quarterback. But you are not getting anything on the ground. Because we believe that on the defensive line, believe that it was an honor to be able to rush the passer, to be able to get, that golden goose and knock that quarterback out, because we stopped the run. But running the football is man on man. Running the football is who's the king of the hill. Who is the guy? Who runs these trenches? And when we come to town and when we step foot on that field, the Baltimore Ravens are the king of the hill. And how dare you even put that in your mind that you're going to walk across our street in our neighborhood without being completely and utterly destroyed.
Sam Adams, I could if we just did a show one day and it was just me listening to you say that, it would be the greatest show we've ever done in the history of this show. I still get goosebumps.
Too late for a best of quote?
I still get goosebumps hearing you do that. Sam Adams with us here on GCR. Sam, we know that season obviously was not perfect, and maybe there's something to be said about you guys arriving, this celebration being this weekend, as the current Ravens are stuck at 6-6. Everybody knows you guys went through the stretch of 5 weeks where there were no touchdowns being scored, and it certainly wasn't on your guys' side of the ball, but it still impacted the team, and we had the goof on the roof and the whole deal, right? Like, it was a tough time.
Yeah.
How did you guys stay together through that? How did you deal with that adversity and from a group that, was largely unproven? Like, you guys had never been tested in the playoffs. How did you guys, find that will when the adversity hit during the course of the season?
It wasn't any adversity for us because that's not my job. My job is to dominate on defense. And it takes time for people to gel on offense. It just does. We had injury. We had all kind of stuff happen. So what? Because they're not scoring points, I got to stop doing my job? Heck no. The more for me We're on the field. And if we're on the field, then we have a chance. We know that we have a chance to win because guess what? We can score on defense. We can take the ball away. We can give them better field position. We can give them more opportunities. You don't look in the mirror and say, oh, woe is me. You look in the mirror and say, hey, it's all on us. Until they get their stuff together. They themselves are a family. They're part of the family. They're part of the team. I'm not going to look at you and say, hey, man, you got to pull your weight. I never believed in that. We've never believed in that. We didn't play like that. What we did do was give them more because they needed more at that time. Yeah, they weren't scoring and they didn't, we had all those different things happening. Guess what? We started knocking quarterbacks out. We're taking the ball away more. We're giving them more opportunities. They turned it around, and then we averaged like 34 points a game going into the playoffs, and we went on a run. But it takes those type of runs because this is a marathon. Things are going to happen during the season. Things are going to happen that are out of your control during the season. It's not in our control to go and score points and perform for offense and special teams. But we went out and we played defense. We dominated on special teams. We gave them more opportunities, and they started taking advantage of it. We started running the ball better. We became more physical. Practices picked up because we were more physical, and we had the intent of controlling the clock, getting first downs, continuing drives. We had a different mindset, play by play. We had a structure that we wanted to follow and execute through Brian's leadership, and we were able to go out and win a Super Bowl. And I also want to make another comment. They talk about, you won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer was a freaking first-round draft pick. Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl champion. Trent Dilfer was excellent. And I'm going to tell you something else. Tony Banks played well. I mean, he had some some
the Jacksonville
that
game.
happened.
Yeah.
Tony Banks did make some plays for us. So everybody has a point in the time where your number is called. And when your number is called, you got to go out and you got to execute and you got to do what you need to do to help us win. I wouldn't change a thing. And I don't look at it as trial and tribulation. I look at it as football. I look at it as life. In life you have things that happen, but you're going to just lay down and not go out and attack it the next day. Yeah, we're attacking it on every opportunity that we got. And with that mindset, we were able to have some success, and we were able to overcome everything that happened either on offense, defense, or special teams. Now, I can tell you we weren't perfect on defense either. Shoot, those New York Jets came in there and put some yards on us and a bunch of points. Jacksonville put some points on us. We had a faux pas in Miami. They came out and put it on us. That was our first loss, and they weren't very good. So, offense, all we need is 3 points, and then you can win 2 points actually, and you can win a football game. Yeah, you can win a football game. So the fact of the matter is, if we want to win and they're not scoring, then hey, don't let them score. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, but the good thing about it is we all had the mindset of, hey, it's on. I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even know I didn't even think about the streak when they were not scoring. Hey, we got a field goal here, we got a field goal there. And I look up at the end of the game, and damn, it's 9-7. But the fact of the matter is, we won. And we lost some close ones. I think that when you're close, then you need to do something to get over the hump. And they were able to do that. And then the rest is history. We're Super Bowl champions, and I walk around with a big fat ring on my finger. But even more so, something they can't take away from us. We were able to deliver Baltimore its first Super Bowl, and we wear that badge of honor for the rest of our lives.
Hey, Sam, jump forward to the Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, I don't think it would have made any difference if Ray Lewis hadn't made that play. But I think it was like the second or third play from scrimmage by the Giants. I think they handed the ball. Was it to Tiki Barber?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ray Lewis, I don't think they knew what they were up against, the speed that defense had, but Ray Lewis, I mean, there was no way that Tiki Barber was going to get around him. But do you remember the play I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember the play you're talking about. It was actually, they were backed up, and I actually got cut on that play. I couldn't believe it. The guard, Ron Stone, he's an all-pro as well. And that joker knocked me off my feet. I got back up, and I started chasing. And by the time I got there, Ray had already knocked him out. But also, he had to get around James. Jamie was there.
Yep.
Woodson was there. Chris McAllister was there. So it wasn't just Ray was hunting him down. He's running for his life, and then he runs into a brick wall of 5 other jokers.
Right.
And by the time I got there, most of us were there. And so I believe that they were shocked at the fact that the speed of the game was even faster than they had anticipated. You can't really, unless you really are going, that's what attracted me to come to Baltimore, was that it was a mindset of, typically coaches got to practice, we got to practice your angles and run into the ball and this, that, and the other. For us, they didn't even have to preach that. It was almost like disrespectful for them to even say that. We were all going to get to that ball, period.
Sam, my last question for you is, and I know Glenn's got another one for you, but how often do you think a Goose, and do you have one story about Goose?
Oh, man. One story?
Well, I mean, I know you got 100.
What about one that can be sanitized that kids would be able to hear? Like, what about if we limited it to that? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you know what? It was fun. It was fun to play with Tony. He's a character, obviously, and it was a joy to be around. But I do have a story. So that after that first year, after we won the Super Bowl, we that offseason, all the coaches, that people started looking at him to get him jobs.
Yep.
And apparently, so Marvin was up for a job, and I think he went to
Washington.
He went to Washington,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, he went and did an interview in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So he did an interview in Buffalo, and we got the peanut gallery, and during stretch time at the beginning of practice, where we're all sitting there. Friday is going through the stretch routine, and we're stretching, but we're all also talking and messing around and picking at people. And so I'm laying down. I think I was stretching my quad, and I'm laying down, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey Marvin, how's it feel to tell your wife that she got to go get rid of all those snow blowers since you're not going to Buffalo?" Man, I almost died laughing.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he had the nerve, because I think they chose someone else. It wasn't the fact that he didn't get the job. They chose someone else. And so It was funny because he's picking at Marvin. The entire team just bust out laughing, and we had to stop stretching because everybody was laughing and rolling in tears at Saragusa picking at Marvin. It was hilarious.
That's awesome. Oh, it's awesome.
Great
Sam,
story.
what are you up to these days?
Oh man, I got a lot of things that we're doing. We're looking at starting a racing team.
Wow.
My kids have all graduated now. My youngest played this last year, and they had some playoff stuff that they were looking at doing. My daughter just got back. She's a professional basketball player. I do some coaching, and I have, we had a lot of business interests of different projects that we're doing. We're doing some stuff in the Caribbean and real estate and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to stay busy.
Sam, I hope we will we will be forever grateful. And when we use the word miracle, I mean, as you know, this was a city that had no team, and you guys delivered us a Super Bowl, and we will never forget that. It was one of the great moments that this city has ever had, and we will be eternally grateful. Happy anniversary. Always appreciate you taking the time, and let's do this again real soon, all right?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And just so you know, we appreciate Baltimore, and they took us in. They made us feel at home. And Baltimore, it will always have a special place in all of our hearts.
Man, that's awesome to hear that.
Have
Sam
fun
Adams.
this weekend.
Yeah, right. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate you.
Thank you all for the opportunity. Y'all have a blessed day.
The great Sam Adams. That was great stuff. 100%. Man, when he's talking about they're not good, I'm ready to run through a wall now. Still,
any chance to still get that in the best of?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if we
Maybe
can.
online.
Don't forget, our best of issue is just a couple of really at this point days away is what we can describe it as. A little bit more than a week before it hits your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. And you can always read it online for free at PressBoxOnline.com. But that best of issue with our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year and celebrating the top people performances and moments of the year is coming, so make sure you get out and get that here shortly. We come back in. Johns Hopkins football trying to make a late charge to be recognized among the best of 2025, and their head coach, Dan Wodicka, will join us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Friday edition of the program. Stan's in studio. Stan, we were talking about Ryan Helsley earlier. You were talking about Ryan Helsley this week.
Yeah, Luke and I were able to grab a coup in getting Katie Wu.
Look at you. Look
see
at
what
you.
I did there?
I see it.
Yeah. We got Katie Wu of The Athletic, and she's a really rising star in the baseball writing world now. She's not just the Cardinals beat writer. She's also
doing national
stuff. And she had a great deal of familiarity with Ryan Helsley, Mike Schild, Tyler O'Neill, and talked a little bit about the relationship. And I think it may have played a part in signing Helsley here in Baltimore, because I'm sure the money being offered was similar to a couple other places, but Andrew Kittredge and he were pretty tight their time in St. Louis.
So you can find that show right now by going to facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows brought to you by the Costas Inn and the new Costas Inn open in Timonium, a great place to host your holiday parties. Going to be a party and a festive atmosphere tomorrow at Homewood Field, round of 16 in the NCAA playoffs, and an in-state rivalry. Johns Hopkins taking on Salisbury, looking to punch a ticket to the national quarterfinals. Joining us now on GCR, he is the head coach of the Blue Jays, Coach Dan Wodicka, with us here on the program. Coach, it's Glenn and Stan. It's great to chat with you. Congratulations on another great season, and thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, guys, good to chat with you again, and really appreciate it. It's been a fun ride, hoping to keep this thing going.
Coach, take me through. This has been going for a little while, right? Basically, this is what you know is success at Johns Hopkins. But what to you was unique about this team? And I know there was one blemish in there that, you would like, but what was it about this team specifically that has led you to this place playing in the round of 16?
Yeah, I think what's really special about this team is it starts with the leadership that we have with our seniors, with our captains specifically. We're really fortunate, with Bay Harvey unfortunately suffering, an injury early in the season last year. For him to come back as a graduate student, I think has really helped, not only obviously on the field and everything that he can do, but off the field, being truly our team leader. And I think specifically with this team, I've just seen absolute trust in everybody. And that's not only with the coaching staff, having absolute trust and, hey, the game plans and what's working that week and our plan for that week, but specifically just the trust of the guys on the team. And every guy that is out there, they know they just need to do their 111 on the field, and the other 10 guys are going to do their job. So we've really just been sticking to that mantra, and it's had a lot of success here this year. And as I said, hopefully we can keep this thing going.
Dan, you were at Hopkins and had the opportunity to play for Jim Margraf. What did he mean to your coaching career?
I don't know how much time we have, but we're almost everything, to be honest with you. He was such a huge figure in my life, and not just my life, but, my teammates and now my best friends, that he's done so much for this football program, specifically in terms of the on-field success, but also just every life that he's touched and continued on to guys doing unbelievable things, once they graduate here. And I realized, kind of during my playing career here, when we all were, trying to figure out what to do, in the middle of college and figure out what our next step was. And I realized that I wanted to, model my life kind of off of him, and really have the impact on young men like he had on me. And I did not think in my wildest dreams, hey, I'd be sitting in this chair right now by any means. But he's obviously been a special person in my life, and definitely I know the guys here, that the players. It's kind of strange now, that all the players on the team, unfortunately, never had a chance to meet Coach Margraf. But they all feel like they know him because he is still running through this program. I'm sure they get tired of how many of the Coach Margraf sayings that I say over and over. Just everything that he's taught us and built this.
After the injury. But now, do you sense how personal it is for him, wanting to lead you guys a step even further and towards a national championship this year?
Yeah, no. Going off that first part, we talking recruiting all the time. That we're scouring the country to find the best young men that are perfect fits here for Hopkins football. But I guess that's not true. We scour the world to find those guys. And yeah, absolutely. I'm just so proud of Bay and just so happy for him that he was able to have this season, just to really go out on his own terms. And I think if you ask him, him. He's one of the most humble guys in the world. That wasn't for any, personal reasons, but he knows just how special of a group that we had coming back. And it really wants to, like you said, take this thing to the next level and really leave his mark on this program. So he's been unbelievable, and as you can imagine, such a mature young man. It's absolutely insane. I mean, right now he's taking graduate school classes at the Carey Business School. He's also working part-time at Constellation Energy downtown in Baltimore, and also having one of the best seasons in Division III football. So he's definitely, I joke all the time that he has his life put together better than I do, I feel like. So it's really great having him. And as I said, having this last season for him has been really fun to watch.
Coach, we bring up a year ago, and you all make that incredible run to the semifinals, and then play an unbelievable game against Mount Union if I remember right, in the snow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
What did this group, the guys that are back, what did they learn from that experience, and how has it sharpened them for this run in the NCAA playoffs?
Yeah, no, I think last year was huge for the guys and just the program as a whole. Just because we dealt with just so many different things last year in terms of, not just Bay, but different injuries popping up. And I think we all found out, hey, there's 1,001 ways to win a football game. We just got to find the one way to do it. And we're in a lot of close games last year. And I think that's really helped us this year especially with the tough schedule that we've had. We've had one of the top 3 toughest schedules in the country this year, and then knew that, hey, we'd be in a lot of tight competitive games. And what I've seen is just a lot of poise with our guys out there, knowing, hey, whatever the score is at halftime, hey, let's just go win the second half and find a way to win this thing. And I think it's also showed us that, when you get into the playoffs here, hey, the margins are so thin. And that goes both ways, in terms of just every team is really, really good when you get to this moment. So they know, hey, got to be on P's and Q's and making big plays in big situations. Those are going to be the difference makers to advance on to the next round.
I know, it's not – Johns Hopkins is recruiting a different type of football player. I understand that it's not – when I bring up the local aspect of this, I understand it's not maybe quite the same as other places where there are local rivalries where it's all the same kids. But there are inevitably some, right? There's undoubtedly someone who's playing for Salisbury that wanted to be at Hopkins. Like, there's no doubt that there are local kids, and this means a little bit more for them. And obviously, what it would mean to them to end your guys' season. What unique challenges does Salisbury present, and the nature of it being sort of an in-state rivalry?
Yeah, there's a lot, and it's just been honestly, this is the 4th time we're playing Salisbury in the last 5 years, and the 2nd time in the playoffs here, and it's been a privilege to be on the field with them because of the program that Coach Wood runs over there has been truly unbelievable, year in and year out, just having a ton of success in the regular and postseason. So it's definitely going to be a challenge on Saturday. Their offense poses a lot of different challenges. Obviously with running the triple option, that's something that you don't see too often. But they're really dynamic. I mean, they got a lot of different playmakers that can make big plays, and one thing that's unique about them is they're not afraid to throw the football as well out of that triple option offense. And so our guys, we were able to play the triple option last week against Springfield College, but they do some different things, and so we've been prepping for it, and it's definitely been keeping me up at night sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you in terms of how to stop this thing. But our guys, it's just been such great games that we've played over these last 5 years. So our guys are definitely excited for another tough test.
Coach, my question about Coach Margraf, it elicited an answer that was kind of perfect and what I kind of guessed you would say. But at a certain point, Dan Wodicka wants to make his own mark. Where are you different than Coach Margraf, and how you make your own mark?
Oh, that's a great question. Or do you
not want to be different at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I wouldn't mind not being different. He had an unbelievable career.
Yeah.
But I think, what was great, just Coach Margraf obviously laying the foundation. I mean, he's built this program up to what it is today. And it's just been such a privilege to see it continue to grow. And it's just like running a football program. It's just like, personal life. It's just like running, a company or an organization. It's just like so many people have had to work so hard to get us to this point where back when I first got here as a player, hey, it was, getting through the playoffs. Hey, that was the big accomplishment, and seeing whatever happens from there. And then now just, we've worked so hard over those last, 15, 20 years to get to a point, hey, let's take this thing to the next level. Let's continue, to make quarterfinal appearances. Let's make semifinal appearances and try to get over that hurdle to a national championship. So it's been an absolute blessing to lead these young men. And I'm trying to take, all those core principles and keep those core principles that Coach Margraf had, and just continue to see this thing grow and continue to build this thing from within.
Coach Dan Wodicka, Johns Hopkins, they're hosting Salisbury tomorrow at noon at Homewood Field. NCAA round of 16 quarterfinal spot on the line. Coach, we wish you the absolute best of luck tomorrow. We'd like to be doing this, having this conversation again here in a few weeks as you're getting ready to play for a national championship. So let's go make that happen. Thank you for hopping on with us this morning.
I really appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate everything that you do, and thank you so much.
That's, of course, Coach Dan Wodicka from Johns Hopkins getting ready for a big NCAA playoff game tomorrow. And speaking of college football, we are once again doing our 50-50 Bowl Pick'em contest. $20 buy-in. Half the pot will go to the winner. The other half of the pot goes to Helping Up Mission. And a lot of the regulars got in yesterday. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I don't want to have to hassle people. So thank you to a lot of the regulars. But I want to keep going because I'd like to get this up to 50 spots. We get to 50 spots. And some people went above and beyond, right? Like John in Little Rock. And by the way, John, I agree with you. Sam Adams, phenomenal. What a great guest he was this morning. John said, here's my buy-in, and then here's $30 more for you to just put towards what you're doing for Helping Up Mission. Love you, brother. Appreciate you for that. I don't need that from everybody, although I wouldn't mind it. I just need you to get in for the Bowl Pick'em. That's what I need. And you could end up winning money. You could come out on top in this. But it's $20. Venmo, Glenn-Clark. PayPal, Glenn Clark 180. Cash App, Glenn Clark Radio. Send $20. And I'll send you the link to get into the Bowl Pick'em. We will know all of the games by Sunday. As I always tell people, when you tell me, it's not really college football, not really my thing, no one knows anything, no, stop it, about these games. Nothing other than maybe the playoff games. Like, you might have some idea of what's the other games. You could be the starting quarterback for some of these teams. Like, we don't know who's playing, who's on the rosters. That's the nice part about bowl season, is you're just guessing for the most part. So when you say, I don't really know anything about college football, welcome to the club. That puts you on par with everybody else. But what we want you to do is get in, $20, half the pot to the winner, half the pot goes towards Helping Up Mission. So get in today, please. It'd be wonderful if...
So I could win $500.
That's the idea. That's the concept. If we get 50 people in. If we only get 20 people in, and I think we're pretty safely going to...
50. We're going to get
I'd like to hope. Yeah. Then you're going to get half the pot if you win. But I need you to sign up. I would love if come Monday, I don't have to mention it again. But if we're not full, I'm going to be an asshole about it. I'm going to be very annoying. We're doing this. We do it every year. Please help us fill this bowl.
Do we not fill it up?
No, we almost always fill it up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
I don't.
Let's not wait.
I don't want to be sitting here next Friday.
Can people buy more than one?
You can have as many spots as you want in the Bowl Pick'em.
I'm going to take all 50 spots.
Well, then we're done. Yeah. Look at how that worked out. Look at how that worked out. I think you got a great shot of winning. I'm just going to tell you.
That's what I'm doing. I
think
get
you got a great
$500.
chance.
Wow.
Well, now it cost you $1,000, but like
It cost me $1,000.
yeah, because the
I thought
$500
it was $20.
Yes, and half of it goes to the winner, and half of it goes to helping
For
up
charity,
mission.
though. It's good karma's coming your way, Stan.
I thought it was $20 to enter.
Yes, it is.
So I'll take all the entries.
I understand, but still half of the money's going to helping up mission.
I got you.
Yeah, we can't get around.
I'm
that.
going to take two blocks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I'm
so-
going to pay you the way I paid you from 3 weeks ago. Who was the guy? I
Oh,
told you
AJ, yeah.
I owe you
Well, yeah.
$25 for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that 25.
I know. That's why I'm bringing it up. I just remembered.
All right. It's all right. We got we
got
did
a
go
lot
out and
of
get
So
lots
you
of breakfast buds.
$65.
I feel like we're
How do
going
I
to
know
start.
that's going to go back to AJ?
Well, that's already been taken care of.